Yo, people always ask me what kind of frames I'm rocking. I've been rocking Caddis for a couple years. They make amazing progressive readers, which I wear. Also, they make sunglass readers, anti-glare, anti-smudge coating, anti-scratch, and anti-aging. That's why I look mad young when I wear them. I'm just kidding. But they make amazing frames. Caddis, so stoked to have you guys part of the podcast. You can go to caddislife.com/Toby10 and get $10 off your first purchase. Stoked. Thank you, Caddis. Welcome to the fam. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. Microphone check, 1 2 1 2.
What was that thing you said yesterday? The meme you sent me about the lizard tank or whatever?
Oh yeah, there was this meme going around. It says, if you keep your thermostat above 75, don't invite me to your terrarium.
Oh shit. If I see any of you guys start sweating, I'm gonna get up and open
Let
the
me
store.
tell you something. I would much
We
rather
keep our house at 80.
Yeah.
Really?
She's just.
We don't.
There's
You like
houses
it hot?
Very.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not. It's never hot enough for me.
Wow. Okay.
Like I prefer to be warm to hot. It's my happy place.
Okay.
Early van tours, the air conditioning situation in the van was always conversation. It was like a fluid, constant conversation that was always happening.
And in the dressing room.
And in the dressing room. Oh, still in the dressing room.
Because usually people love freezing cold air conditioning, then you like bundle up in the blankets.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can't sing, first of all, when the dressing room's cold.
Facts.
And it's not good for your throat to be in air conditioned spaces for
Yeah.
long periods of time. And you know, I get, as soon as I get cold, I start to get instantly sad. Like it just does something to my emotions. Like
Wow.
I get like really depressed and really sad. Whereas the warmer it gets, the happier, more relaxed I am. And it's what I'll notice before I'll notice that I'm cold is I'll notice that I'm sad. Like I'll just be like, I'm so sad. It's like, oh shit, it's really cold in
Isn't
here.
it
That's
interesting
why.
that that's like how you feel, like warm or cold, that can affect all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast, the Interrupters.
Hey.
Everybody go around and introduce yourselves. I know your names, but just you guys are sharing a mic.
Hey, this is Justin. Hey, it's Jesse.
And Kevin.
And Amy.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
This is the first time I had a whole band on my podcast.
Whoa.
Wow.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. I know you guys been really, really busy.
Mhm.
I just saw your Jimmy Kimmel performance. It was awesome. It's fun to watch that and see
Thank
that. I
you.
know how stressful that can be. You guys killed it. It's
Dude,
cool.
thank you.
Thank
And we're
you.
honored to be the first full band. I mean, we're a family, so it's kind of like we roll everywhere
I
together.
love that.
You know?
I do love that. When you say anybody's rolling, I'm like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that because a lot of people in the music biz and you're in bands, some bands like after a tour they just vanish and they see you at the next tour.
Mm.
Like me and my we're all brothers. We hang out all the time. We talk every day, and we're a family.
Yeah.
I think that's
same.
really important.
And we all live on the same property.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But
So
still
we
get
always-
home from tour and we don't see each other for a week.
I'll
Okay.
see them in the driveway and just say, hey.
So you guys all live together
Yeah. I mean, pretty
in a
much.
sense.
We
yeah.
live in
yeah.
a house, and then they in the front, and they live in a house in the back.
And then we share a garage that's our actual like recording studio where we did this record.
Incredible. Because we have 3 brothers here, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
In Hamilton High,
Yep.
where my son went.
Hamilton
You
High.
guys are from there,
alumni.
right? You guys shared some of the same teachers, my son told me.
Wild.
So wild.
That's so
man.
crazy.
Yeah.
He learned so much in that school too. He really learned how to read music and piano and all that stuff.
I
and
mean, same. I came straight out of high school and joined the Transplants, and I had skills as a recording engineer right away because of that school and the classes they offered. Like they had an electronic music course that literally absorbed my life the entire 4 years I was in high school, and I learned so much. And I would not be able to do anything I've been doing if it wasn't for that school.
What
Yeah.
musicians? Who did you guys go to school with? Like what musicians came out of there?
I mean, a lot of before I was there, obviously, but like Fiona Apple went there.
Wow.
Haim.
No, Haim didn't go.
I heard
there.
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle went there.
Oh.
Yeah. Omarion went there.
Omarion?
Yeah.
Oh, so Motley.
Oh, Abe Laboriel Jr.
Yeah.
went there, drummer for Paul McCartney.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean like,
The Carney brothers.
oh yeah, yeah.
But Chaim went to your other school. I'm not crazy.
Well,
No, that was our middle school. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
In the valley. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Well, that was the thing is we always went to a music school ever since the 6th grade because that's all we were interested in. So
I love
like,
that.
Yeah, we would follow wherever like had the good music classes, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So we did. You know, it's so funny. Justin, in this 5th grade talent show, is playing a Blink-182 cover on bass with Danielle Haim on guitar and singing. And there's a video somewhere. It exists.
That's sick. What song was it?
Aliens Exist.
Nice.
And I remember I wasn't good enough to learn it on my own, so Kevin actually wrote out the tablature for me.
Wow.
I got no memory of that part.
I found it last week.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's in our storage unit right
Oh,
now.
dang.
That's amazing.
Pavona Museum,
The
dude.
twins are the archivists of the band.
Okay.
They save everything. Every
AKA hoarders.
hoarders.
There's a thin line between archiving and hoarding.
Yeah.
So you save every flyer, everything.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Every flyer-
ticket stub we've ever.
Every show we've ever played is recorded. Every
Is recorded
is recorded.
2 video angles and audio.
Every show,
from the first show.
No, I mean
most of them.
most. I mean we do have the first one audio wise recorded.
Yeah. See.
That's so
And you
cool.
could, that's the reason why probably is because I'll say certain comments about the show and they're like, let's take it to the tape.
Yeah, we
and then
do.
and I'm like, this happened on stage. And they're like, I don't think so. Let's take it to the tape. And so now they can either prove me right or wrong, depending on
usually
the
right.
evidence,
Yeah.
the evidence. But
Because-
then we pull up the evidence.
It's true because she'll say, "Oh, that one felt really fast tonight. I think we got to slow it down." And we'll be like, "I don't know. Let's take it to the tape." And we'll listen to it and be like, "Oh yeah, we're kind of pushing it a little bit."
Wow.
We treat this band like a major sports organization. Like we get off stage and we like
Go back and watch the tapes.
not like right away, but we will like ice down and talk about what we could have done better.
I love that. You're
You
super
know?
professional about it. But are you super critical of yourselves and super anal about everything? To the point where you're like,
I think we all do it in
Conscious
different
of it?
ways. Different ways. We all have certain things we hone in on and are pretty like particular about.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all to a certain degree like always think we could always find something we could do better. If
Yeah,
you're
of course.
kind of chilling at oh no, it's as good as it's gonna get. Well, then you're just as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
you
You
know
never
what I
get too
mean?
comfortable.
Yeah, but
And I don't like walking off stage and just being like, that was awesome, guys. Although they do. I'm always like, I don't know. How could we improve? How could that have been better? What I did wrong? What I could fix? What I just like think about it and then I overanalyze it in my mind. And then after I go through that whole process, then like maybe a couple hours later, I'll be like, all right, guys, good show.
yeah. Well, because here's the thing, too. 2 things are happening up there. We're like performing our songs, but also like we're having a moment with the crowd, and it's like in this type of music, it all becomes one energy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I walk off stage and I'm kind of like, wow, like that was I'm not saying like I was awesome, but like you know, like I'll always be able to find something. But yeah, we always
No, I do walk off on stage immediately, and I'm like, they were awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome. And then
That
she'll-
is immediate.
and
But
then
what
she'll
I
say,
did,
what happened to your guitar on that
Yeah,
one song?
yeah,
And I'm like,
exactly.
well, I
Dang.
bent it out of tune.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
that pre-chorus was a little flat.
Yeah,
I just take each song and I kind of run it through my head. Like, how can we improve?
I like that.
Yeah.
But the crowd never really hears the things you guys hear.
Yeah, I think as the
That
years
one
go
little
by,
thing, you know. Like,
I think we're
Yeah.
becoming more aware that like if we could make that a little better, still no one will notice. But I guess we will or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
the twins are a lot more like, you know, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, they're just like, that was great. And I'm like, we could always do better.
I've definitely had some moments where I've walked off stage and gone, I totally messed that up. Or like I played it so poorly, and then I'll find a video or something on YouTube and I'll watch it and be like, that was great. I was wrong.
so it just gets in your head about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
just going back to we played Kimmel the other night, and we you know, if for TV you do a sound check during the day, and then they do a camera check, so they like can
Yeah.
plan out the camera moves. And we played the song probably 3 times that day, and I felt like it was getting better and better each time. We go to play the TV one, and I felt like I had, me personally, the worst performance for myself.
Really?
Because I was so in my head.
Yeah.
And I was just like so in my head. And then they actually let me watch it when we came off because they had it mixed down. And I was like, is there any way I could just check the mix real quick? And I like went into the sound booth and I watched it. And I thought I had this like light bulb moment where I'm like, dude, I was watching Amy perform and I'm like, were you forgetting that she was like up there crushing it and like nobody
Yeah.
cares about your harmonies or like you know what I mean? Like
That's sweet.
No, it's seriously. And I was like, I'm so lucky to be in a band with her. And like everybody too, you guys, everybody like brought it.
It was great.
And I realized it was our best performance of the day, even though it was my personal like worst as far as how I executed my parts, but whatever. I
You
mean,
did
like,
great.
It's rock and roll, you know?
I was told that when Prince was on there, I actually went to the performance of Prince, that he stayed all night watching all the stuff back, going through everything
No way.
for hours.
Wait, outdoor stage?
Yes.
I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for hours. Just stayed there, went through everything. He's super like that.
Yeah.
So you guys like Prince?
Yeah.
I love Prince.
Prince, amazing.
I mean, you know, one of the most talented. I mean, it's so funny because you can't call Prince underrated, but like as a guitar player, in the conversation of guitar players, no one ever brings up Prince, but like, dude,
Yeah.
shredder.
Underrated guitar player.
As a
for
guitar
sure.
player, yeah.
I love the documentary. This is My Family. I thought that was amazing, by the way.
Thanks.
It's really, really awesome. So people listening now, you can check that out. Where is that at?
So YouTube.
YouTube, okay. And
Free.
you guys did it all yourself. Did it all yourself, right?
The documentary was
Yeah.
Kevin Kerslake. So we made the live record, and that video from the concert we had, and we basically just pulled up a bunch of old childhood footage, went through our whole lives, and then
Yeah.
we gave it to Kevin Kerslake, the director, and he kind of turned it into this story that like I wouldn't say we had a clear vision for it, but once we saw the first cutback, we're like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing, and then we kind of fine-tuned it with him. But yeah, we kind of did it all in-house.
He's awesome.
Super.
It came out awesome, man.
Well, thank you.
Really, really awesome. So you guys are all from California?
They're from Van Nuys. I'm from Montana.
Montana's right.
Mm.
Growing up in Montana, how was that? I mean, did you
Cold.
live your whole life? You lived there, like high school and everything?
Yeah, I grew up in Polson, Montana, Missoula, Montana, and Billings, Montana. So I moved around. Had early part of my life in Missoula and Polson, and then 8th grade through my junior year in Billings, Montana, which is like eastern Montana.
Yeah.
It's really industrial, really not what you think of when you think Montana,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
mountains and trees and rivers.
Cows. Yeah.
It's more like factories and pollution and and snow.
I don't think I ever played a show in Montana, maybe. Is
Yeah,
there like a
it's-
scene there now? Or I wonder.
No,
Was there ever a scene there, really?
there was a little punk club in Missoula called Jay's Upstairs,
Mhm.
and bands would come through there from time to time. It was a cool spot.
Yeah.
And I actually, man, I was 18 and over, and it was a really cool little place. I saw so many bands there, but I actually saw a band there one time that lived in LA, and I had the night before I went to that show, I had a dream that I moved to LA.
Wow.
And so when I met this band, I was like, oh, you guys are from LA. I just had a dream that I lived there and that I was pursuing my music there. Could I follow you guys in my car and maybe, I don't know, just get the hell out of here? And
How old were you then? 18?
yeah, 18. No, maybe 19.
Can I follow you
time?
back to California?
18. Maybe I just turned 18. Yeah, 18 around there. 18 around there. Yeah. So I was like, hey, can I come with you guys? And basically, they lived in Orange County. I thought they lived in LA.
Not quite
so,
LA.
so
It's
different.
not quite.
Two different worlds.
But they said I could crash with them for a couple days
Yeah.
or whatever. So I crashed with them, and then
You just left?
yeah.
Just
Wow.
left. When I was 18, I was still eating dinner at the parents' house, dude. You know, like,
My,
You know,
my
we-
son, too, yeah.
We have a song on the record called "Anything Was Better Than Where I Was From,"
Yeah.
and it's about that. It's
Okay.
about just feeling like it's not where I was from, as in the city, but my circumstances. I was
Yeah.
just like, literally anything is better. So I'll just go with these strange dudes, and I don't know where I'll end up. I'm gonna go by myself, and I don't know anyone. But literally anything is better than what I have here. So
yeah.
it couldn't get worse. And I really wanted to pursue my dreams of doing music, and I knew that if I stayed there, that was never going to happen.
Were you already on your own at that point?
At that point I had a band, and actually did the night after they played, I played a show, and they came to my
Oh, that's cool.
show. So they thought that was pretty cool.
Were you living on your own, though?
No, I was
Okay,
living
so
with my
at home.
mom. Yeah.
So when you leave, your mom's just like,
Yeah, I just
like, she just left, yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Did you graduate from high school?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
You seem like you'd be a good
and I
student.
went to college for a year. So
Okay,
that's why I went to college for a year. I studied poetry and women's studies. Because in order to be a DJ on the radio station at the university, or the biggest station or the coolest station in town was the university station.
Okay.
And I had a band, and I wanted my music to be played on that station, so I had to enroll in college, and in order to be a DJ, in order to play my music.
Wow.
And so I would just say that, hey, you guys got to check out this band. They're playing a show tomorrow night. Try and hype it up, but I wouldn't say that was my band.
Yeah.
Try and get tickets. Try and get people, to buy tickets. But yeah, after a while of doing that, I was like, there's got to be more. I have to. I can always go back to college. You know what I mean? But I just have to follow my dream. So, yeah.
And to bring it full circle, we were playing a show in Orange County,
Ooh.
right before the lockdown, right? So 2019, remember that? And one of the dudes that was in that band that she followed and went with
came out.
He was there playing in one of the other bands that was on the bill.
That's crazy.
And it was so cool because we've known each other for over 10 years now, and I've known the stories, but to have somebody, and I remember talking to him, and he's like, you don't have any idea what we witnessed when we saw her sing. We were
cool.
Dude, you're so sick. And then she came with us, and I was like, "Well, that's
crazy,
so." It's
man.
it's like that movie Big Fish, when at the end, when all the characters from the stories come, and you're like, "Oh my god, all those stories!" It all makes sense.
Connect.
Yeah. So,
what were your influences back then as far as doing music? Who were you listening to?
At that particular time, I was listening to Rancid and Bad Religion and NoFX and Bad Brains.
Ooh.
And and the thing is that the band that I was in, what was frustrating for me is their favorite band was Dave Matthews and
wow, okay.
And what's the other
Fish.
No, not
Fish. No, Fish and
Hootie and the Blowfish. No.
and
The Dead.
the Grateful Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
but that
right.
makes sense. Hippie kind of town.
Yeah, it is a hippie town, and so that was their favorite music, and I'm like, these songs are way too long.
10-minute, 50-minute song.
Dude, end it.
We need to. Yeah, I'm like, we got minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. That's the max.
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, but we need a 10-minute guitar solo. So it was just really frustrating, and I was like, I need to find other people that want to make the music that I want to make. So when I did go to LA, and because I didn't know anybody,
You didn't nobody here, right?
the band that brought that I met,
Yeah.
they were called The Line, and
Okay.
there's this punk band. They're
There's
still
some- I
doing
heard
it. They're
the
still
name. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
still
still
doing
playing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
it. They're cool, really cool guys.
They
But
pretty much took you under their wing and got you out here. And
yeah, well, they let me stay there a couple of days and stuff, and then I realized, I really want to go to LA because I realized I'm not actually in LA. I'm in Orange County. So I drove my car to the only thing I knew, because I didn't know anybody, was the Hollywood sign. I just thought if I just could find the Hollywood sign, then I know that I'm in Hollywood. I know I'm in LA.
yeah.
And then I'll just park my car and I'll just figure it out from there. So that's what I did, and
Just
I
park under the sign and just.
just so that I could see it.
Yeah.
I parked to where I could see it, and then I was like, all right, so that's step one, And I don't know anyone. So I called the bartender of that punk bar, and in my hometown, there was a movie that they filmed, that Brad Pitt movie, A River Runs Through It.
Yep.
So that was filmed in Missoula, and the bartender was an extra in that movie. So I just thought, maybe someone from LA since you were in an extra, which is really ridiculous looking back on
Checks
it.
out.
But so I was like, hey, remember those guys I met in the bar that night? Well, I'm in LA, and
Dang.
anyway, I was like, do you know anybody that lives in LA? And he was like, actually, I do.
And it was Brad Pitt.
And it close, but it was like, yeah, actually, I do know someone, and I'll see, if they are around or whatever. Long story short, the house that of the people that he knew and the people that had a room for rent, I just so happened to be parked on that street, and I could see the house from where I was at.
Man.
Dude, wild.
So he goes, just go over and knock on the door. So I just walked over and knocked on the door, and I was like, hey, I heard you have a room for rent. And they were like, absolutely. And Then I had a place to stay, which was so weird.
Yeah.
And then from there, I got a job waiting tables at Jerry's Famous Deli.
Nice. Classic.
The classic, what's it called? The graveyard shift.
Okay.
And then my off time, I walked up and down Sunset Boulevard every single night. Like anytime I had a night off, I would walk up and down Sunset Boulevard and I would just see if I could meet any musicians. I would ask people if they wanted to start a band. I asked them if they like punk music. I want to start a punk band. And because there was a lot of metalheads and stuff.
Some Sunset strippers.
So
down there.
I would just be like, what kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you do? And I ended up meeting some
Just interviewing random people in the street. I love
just
it.
every night.
love
Just
it.
like, what do you do? What kind of music do you do? You play instrument? Do you want to start a band? If you like punk and you want to start a punk band.
No Dave Matthews.
Yeah. And so that's how I found a band. This band, No Motive. You know No Motive?
Yeah.
The guys from No Motive
Okay.
was a band that I started singing with the members of those guys. They're awesome.
MOTIV.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think on the Warped Tour maybe too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I met them and Sunset Boulevard, and then we played, a couple shows, and one of those shows, Randy Jackson was at.
Randy Jackson
Yeah, and he, they were in another contract. Long story short, Randy Jackson helped me
from
get.
American Idol.
Yeah,
The
but he
Randy
wasn't.
Jackson?
But he
It's so random.
He
was scouting bands and looking at because he worked at the label or
he worked at
something.
MCA. Yeah.
Okay.
So he saw us and he helped me get my first record deal.
That is incredible.
Yeah. So all because I followed my dream and I had
Yeah.
was so naive. I didn't know enough to be afraid. I would never do that again. That was absolutely insane. But
Yeah.
it worked out.
What year was that? 2000. I don't even know what year that'd be.
Had to be like early, right? Early 2000s.
Around there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You all by yourself, come from there to LA. Just all the moves you made. It's just crazy, man.
It really is.
Things happen for a reason, though. You're that close to the house or the Hollywood sign. Oh, he lives right there. That's crazy, man.
Everything is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Especially
And the
with this
journey
band.
led me to you guys.
I know. It's true.
And to my husband.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's
So, No Motive. So, you guys toured with that band too, or no? Were they touring?
No, just a couple of shows.
Yeah. And then how do you meet these wonderful brothers right here?
So we were on tour. I was on tour as a solo artist, opening for Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those guys.
Shout out to Mark. He's the best. He's a listener. He'll be listening to this right now.
We
love him.
Mark.
You
Yeah,
know
he's the
that
best.
he officiated our wedding. He was
I did know that.
Yeah.
I did know that. Yes.
He's family. We love those
Sweet
guys.
human, man.
But I was a roadie for them, and they let my band open up the West Coast leg of my band at the time called Telecasters with the twins and then our other buddies Tim and Dash. We had this band, and they're like, yeah, you could jump on the West Coast leg of our run,
So
and then we
cool.
did. And the first day, she was at our sound check, and then I watched her set, and I was like, dude, your songs are so good. Like, let's write songs together.
Was it just
And
under your name? Just your name for your
Yeah.
solo?
yeah.
That's cool.
And it's I was just so blown away at the songwriting, the simplicity too, because at the time it was like an 808 sounding djembe, and then like an acoustic guitar, and just the song, and I was like blown away, and I was like, I have to
Thanks.
write songs with this person.
What a sweet husband.
Yeah.
So
But-
as soon as you saw her, heard her, you're like,
Yeah.
she's amazing.
Yeah. And then we were, you guys were.
Do you call them
probably-
the twins always? You call them by their names?
I call them by their names if
Sometimes-
I'm trying to address them, but if I'm addressing them collectively like twins.
Yeah.
How old were you guys on that
We
tour?
were
You must.
freshly 20.
Yeah, I mean,
You're the oldest?
yeah.
Okay.
So we were. I mean, it was our first time getting in a van together.
Yeah.
Because I did everything backwards. I started with the Transplants in 05, and
Amazing group, by the way.
amazing group,
Yeah.
and amazing opportunity. I was 18, fresh out of high school, joined that band, toured on buses.
Saw you with them, yes.
Yeah, and then I had to then I like became friends with all the crew,
Yeah.
and I became a roadie for so many bands, and I was touring that way. But I always like never really put all my eggs in the basket of like I need to do music myself. I would do it in my off time. I'd like write songs and like
Yeah.
make recordings and stuff, but I never like went all in. And I'd always work with other bands until I met her, and she's like, dude, you gotta like stop. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna go set up drums for 2 months. And she's like, you're wasting your like good time right now. Like, we gotta like make some tunes. And
She
then
saw it in you.
yeah, and she was the first one where I was like turning down tours now. We started writing songs and making a record. I called the twins to come get involved, play on it,
Twins.
engineer it.
And we were just going to do it for my solo stuff.
Yeah.
And then about when we were done or
Like
halfway
when we were
done.
mixing, you were like, I want it to be a
When
band.
we were mixing, I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to be a solo artist anymore. I want to do a band and I just don't have it in me. I do not. I hate being a solo artist. Because if the show fails, there's only one name on that. You know what
now
I mean?
know like how hard you are on yourself with the interrupters. Imagine it's by yourself. Totally, yeah. Like
it's too much
all
pressure.
me,
It's too much.
What made you do that? Just wanted to give it a try after No Motive?
Well, I was signed as a solo artist.
Okay.
Because they were already in another contract, and that's just how it worked out.
Yeah.
So,
but you could
that solo record, it never came out. It got shelved.
Okay.
So, which I was shelved, and I was unable to record under my name for how many years?
7 years.
7 years.
Major labels, man.
So
wild.
I was on
right?
MCA too as well, man. Yeah, man.
Well, yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, so I was on Elektra, but he was leaving MCA to do American Idol. So yeah, he hadn't started it yet.
Wow,
it was that long ago. But anyway, the stress and the pressure I felt leave my body when we decided that we were going to be a band.
Yeah,
was the most freeing, most beautiful.
I know,
feeling.
But the thing is, it was making that record was so collaborative. It already kind of felt like a band, and then like hitting up the Twins, like I didn't even have to really think about like, are they going to be down? I was like, they'll be down, And then like we told Tim about it like that week we started it, and he was like, yo, let's meet up and let's make a record with the Interrupters, and then boom, it was like,
who came up with the name?
Amy did. Our mom was visiting, and she was like, we were hanging out. We're kind of partying a little bit back then, and like
a little bit.
And my mom kept interrupting Amy, and like not like in a mean way, just like in an excited way, And after she left, Amy goes, "Oh, your mom's kind of an interrupter." And at this point, we had the notebook of band names. Like,
got you.
Three pages of band
damn.
names. And then I go, "What'd you say?" She goes, "Interrupter." And I'm like, "The Interrupters." Oh, boom. And then it just kind of like felt.
We both like knew at that moment,
especially with the music we were making. It felt like
great name.
the right name. You know what I mean? And then we just never looked back, and I was really happy about that because I had been in bands before where it's like we were constantly talking about changing the band name, and it's like there's nothing less solid feeling than a band when you're finally like, is our name good? Like I'm like, let's just get that out of the way. But yeah, we started making the first record with Tim. The solo record we made with her that started the band, we ended up not putting that out because we re-recorded everything live like as a band. We only took a couple of the songs. We wrote a bunch of new songs, but on that record there was like a bunch of songs that ended up being Interrupter songs. So it was like this cool well we had to like draw from, and it was fun, man, that process of like being in a brand new band again, and like, and then just being so lucky.
It's still fun.
It's still fun, but being so lucky to be around Tim at the time too, because dude, our first tour, like we opened up for Rancid and the Transplants. It was like,
I remember that tour. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we had played like 6 shows, and then we went on tour with Rancid and the Transplants, and it's like, here you go, and we're like, oh wow, we got to figure this out.
Dude, I was so nervous.
You were, plus Rancid, you're a fan also.
Dude,
yeah,
major fan.
So working with Tim, that must have been first time meeting and working with.
It was surreal, and I couldn't believe it. Because that was a huge dream of mine for a very, very, very long time. So the fact that happened still blows my mind.
Yeah, and then you meet him, and he's like everything you want him to be is exactly how you think he would be. Like super humble, smart, creative, funny, just everything about him is just. You know what I mean?
And now he's family.
Of course,
we're he's like
the big bro. Yeah. He's incredible, man.
Yeah, when we did, we were right before we started the Interrupters. This is, the type of dude he is. He's so musical. Like we were just hanging out one day, and I played him some demos that Amy and I had made.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Whoa, she's super talented. I'll write with her." And I was like, "Dude, if I told her that, she would like flip out right now." So like he came in on that solo record and like co-wrote a couple tunes.
Yeah.
And part of one of those songs became the bridge of She's Kerosene like 8 years later. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's also that type of dude that's always writing, and he's always got ideas, and it's just like
million songs.
And then when you're at the space where you're like, we're gonna make a record, or we're gonna like we're gonna do some writing, we always pull from like the stuff that we've already worked on because we move so quick.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to just waste any good ideas. You're always there to kind of like pull from, as a songwriter.
So you guys all write songs together usually?
Every song, it comes about differently.
Yeah.
But we always arrange them and put them together as a unit. Yeah.
You seem like the guy be writing songs all the time, or like always it's in your head writing stuff, or no?
Yeah, we're always writing songs. I mean, each record we have approximately between 40 and 60 songs that
To choose from?
Yeah.
Wow.
To kind of whittle
That
down
is
from.
total Tim style, man, too.
Yeah.
Rancid do that as well.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
constantly writing. Kevin's constantly writing. I don't know how to not do that. It's kind of my therapy.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it helps me. I'm much better at putting my feelings across through music than actually talking about it out
Me
loud.
too.
I can sing you my feelings a little more accurately than I can tell you.
Me
my
too.
feelings.
I never been to a psychologist or had therapy. I definitely need it, but I use
Same.
I talk about it on every podcast because I have daddy issues when my dad died when I was a kid. But I write about it and I sing about it, and that's the way I get it out. And I feel like that's good enough. My wife's always telling me, "You need to talk to somebody." I don't know why I'm scared to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, talk therapy is really bad for someone like myself.
You mean talking to a person?
Yeah, talk therapy is not. It's not really bad. It's just not ideal. The best therapy for trauma is trauma therapy.
Okay.
Trauma therapy is different than talk therapy. For example, if I went to someone to just talk about all my trauma, I would get triggered, and I would leave feeling horrible and all triggered and not good. But if you go to someone specifically a trauma therapist, for example, EMDR therapy, it sort of helps rewire the brain so that when you have a traumatic flashback or you have traumatic event, it helps you cope with it in a way that you don't have to constantly keep revisiting.
Okay.
Whereas trauma
I like
therapy, you're not really you're not rewiring the brain. You're actually possibly be making it worse. So
Interesting. No.
I did talk therapy for many, many years and I wasn't getting better. Then I started during the pandemic, I started doing EMDR therapy and specifically targeting traumatic events. And I feel so much better. I'm going to end up doing it for my whole life because I have plenty of deep well to draw from. And you can only deal with 1 or 2 traumatic events per
time,
session.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had that written down to the therapy I saw you post about. We'll get to that for sure. This Is Us, that TV show, that triggers me. Any kind of like situation where a parent dies fucks me up. Even like Pixar movies and
Bambi or
all that shit. But it's all heavy when like a parent dies. I've always been like that, especially since I became a father as well. Like I'm super emo. I'm super sensitive about things.
Yeah.
But my dad
heavy.
died at a very young age.
How old were you?
3. And I have 2 older brothers, and we weren't allowed to go to the funeral because my mom didn't want us to see that. We never had real closure on it. And my older brothers knew him really well, and they had good memories. I have like 2 photos. So I think that really fucked me up probably, in a sense, you know?
Yeah. And do you remember? You remember
I
not
remember
being
coming home and falling on the bed and having some like issues, and then going to the hospital, never come back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So if you went,
I'm getting emo now.
So if you went to trauma therapy specifically for that event, it would be so helpful. You would
TMS, right?
No, that's a
another
different
one.
thing.
Okay,
That's a different one.
Yeah, but if you went to EMDR therapy and just targeted just that memory, it would change your life.
I think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You recommend somebody to me?
I definitely. I got a number for you.
Okay, yeah. I think that's the first thing I should try.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really great. It's. I will tell you this. It is one of the hardest things you will ever do in your life.
Yeah, I'm getting emotional thinking about it.
But so rewarding because you have to go visit that memory, which is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
But then you actually create a new memory. So what you would do, for example, is you would go back to that memory, you as an adult, and you would take your 3-year-old self and you would hug him.
Yeah.
And you would tell him all the things that you wish that he could know, all the things that comfort him. You make a new memory. So when you have a flashback, you see you there now.
Sick.
And it creates this like peace. And it it was developed for veterans, PTSD. Yeah. And it really can help rewire the brain. There's little things you put in your hand, little buzzers that buzz back and forth, and it stimulates the left and right hemisphere of your brain, and you go back and you kind of time travel.
Wow.
And you create a new memory,
Like
a butterfly effect. It's so definitely, I think it would be helpful.
Damn. Let's not talk about the interrupters anymore. I want to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's educational. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
And we could talk about TMS when you want.
Yeah, have it in there. Yeah, that's like. All right, good. Let's just get back to focus now. Okay, so so Hellcat's the first record, right?
Hellcat's all the records.
All the records.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Never.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Dude.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You guys like Fat Mike and stay in the label the whole time. I love that.
We have no reason to go anywhere
Yeah.
else. There's like the best people, you know,
I love
Tim
that,
and
yeah.
Brett.
It's
and,
family.
like, it's family. Like, we've been with our same booking agent, Stormy, since the very
Shout out
beginning.
to Stormy
Like,
Shepherd. Love you, Stormy.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Like, we are so lucky to be surrounded by
Yeah.
these people that it's just like, it's a family. Like I said,
love
like,
it.
we're sitting here together because we're a family, but the
Yeah.
family is grown, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's beautiful. Should we fast forward to the new record or talk about the other records? I mean, Say It Loud. Well, the first one was self-titled too, right?
Yeah.
Then
Then we did Say It Out Loud, and was it
Were you guys building a
2016?
following leading up to the first record? You guys playing lots of shows and getting your name out there and doing those tours, right?
Yeah.
So the funny
Ask
thing
the
is,
archivist.
we finished the first record in 2012.
Well, your voice sounds great. Go ahead, keep
Oh,
going.
thanks.
Go.
I should get on the radio more often.
Just talk close.
So
Go.
we finished we did finish the first record before we even started playing shows.
Okay.
And it was kind of a thing. It was like you guys can't just, put out a record and go on tour with Rancid. You got to play some shows or whatever. So like that's
like
what we
that.
did. Elvis Cortez helped us out with all of our first shows.
Nice.
Put us on a bunch of awesome bills.
He's doing the podcast with Tim now. Killing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we love Elvis.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
And then
We pressed a couple 7-inches as a little something to have on tour.
Smart.
You know? And
Yeah.
Yeah, and like he said with Stormy, she had a laundry list of bands that needed opening bands, so we'd get
You
on
guys
those
tour a
shows.
lot, man. You were touring and still do. Yeah, you grind, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Love
So
it.
we pretty much toured for 2 years before the first record came out,
I love it.
and then by the time that first record came out, the second record was halfway written, maybe more.
We were already playing half the songs on our set too. So and that record was done in a way different way because it was like we had so much touring, we would like find these zones where we'd get together with Tim and like we'd be like, oh, we got 2 weeks in July. All right, we got like a couple weeks in October.
You
And
seem
then
very organized with your dates because we've been talking for
Yeah,
months
yeah.
about this spot. But you have everything like practice. And you guys are very organized.
yeah, we kind of have to be. And I have
Wish I
a
could do
weird
that.
memory with dates and times too. But I
They
remember
all
like
do. They all have these. You right now you could name any day, any year, any month, and they will tell you what they were doing or what was happening.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
to
never
have
seen
them.
anything like it. It's really great to have. Yeah, because I think of time and events in very artistic,
yeah.
fluid ways,
Abstract.
abstract. I'm like,
ways.
at some point, in the last decade that happened or whatever, and they know exactly when things happen.
So you know the date the first record came out?
August 5th, 2014.
Wow. Holy shit.
which is actually gonna be what's that 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years, yeah.
When this new record comes out, yeah.
Okay, what about the second record? It came out 2016. Say It Loud.
2016.
So both you guys. Wow.
The album release
All-
was on June 18th.
See,
You too? You like that
yeah,
too?
he's the same way.
I kind of am. I'm slipping a little as we do more and the band lives longer.
Yeah.
Like,
you guys
but,
have
you
great
know-
memories. Damn.
But do you know what I pride myself
Crazy.
on now? I don't know if it's like something cool to pride yourself on, but when we go to a venue on tour and like I remember an experience there, but the twins don't, I'm like, remember we had those tacos right down the street, and they'll be like, wait, I don't remember that, and I'm like,
That's
when-
rare.
When
It's
they
very rare.
when
They
they
remember
don't remember,
everything.
I'm just I feel
Wow.
like I won. I don't know why.
So, do you guys play the same set list if you go back to the same city?
We don't. What do you mean?
Well, because the drummer from Metallica writes all their set lists every night, and they try to play the same set twice when they go back to the same. Add a different song or flip something.
Oh yeah, we try to flip
it's interesting. I thought you guys might be
No,
particular like
yeah,
that.
for tours, like we try to have like our set for this tour,
Okay,
and kind
yeah,
of like, and we flip it from the last time. Especially now, we put out a live record. It felt like I always said it felt like a stand-up comedian when they put out their special and they
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
like
yeah.
do the bits anymore, like.
After
so we
you
put
do
out
it one, yeah,
we did the live record, and it's like we can't go out and play that set because that everyone's got it now, and we had to flip it around, and we have new songs now too, which is
Yeah.
fun,
Interesting. We were talking before the pod too about putting like the newer songs in the set and like the crowd and just that
Yeah.
kind of challenge. And you're so stoked on it, but nobody's really heard them yet.
Yeah.
And you want that same reaction from the song before that they heard.
It's-
It's interesting. man.
Fully like putting the pill in a piece of cheese before you hand it to the dog. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
like.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's fun. But it's fun playing the new songs right now.
Oh, it's been
Yeah.
super fun, but I'm still, we're still, or at least I can only speak for myself, but I'm in my head as far as like I want it. Like the other ones are just second nature at this point. And
Yeah.
It's like if I mess it up, I mess it up because I'm having too good a time. These ones I mess up because I'm like thinking about it. You know what I mean?
But 2018 was the last record before the live record.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Fight the good fight.
and this record, I mean, we've been saying that our 4 records are basically, if you look at it as going on a date with someone. The first record is kind of a party record. When you go on your first date with someone, you don't tell them all your deepest secrets.
True.
Second record, second date, by the fourth record, we've slowly been, giving more and more, telling more and more of, my story.
Yeah.
But this record is really, I really tell my story on this record, so we're like in a full blown relationship, with everyone.
Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah. So, we're letting them, I'm letting people in.
This is the most personal one for you.
More than I ever have. Yeah. Because our
Why do
other
you think it
records,
is? Yeah.
the stuff that, I've written, I've made it about other people. So, for example, she got arrested. I made that about somebody else. That didn't happen to me. That's her. Jenny drinks. Oh, I'm not Jenny. That's somebody else.
Yeah.
Easy on You is another song I wrote about telling somebody else's story. Good things I wrote from first person, and it's a little like snippet into kind of I was having a hard time, or in a little unveiling.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Now it's just like.
But now,
All you, yeah.
Now I'm not hiding behind other
feel
people's
good.
stories.
Does it feel scary too?
Yeah, no, it feels therapeutic, and it feels necessary, and it feels nice to be able to, and freeing to just be able to tell my story without and own it and just be authentic about it. It feels like there's a release for sure.
Do you feel like the documentary helped kind of show a light on your life and that kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. Doing the documentary as we were doing it and looking at old pictures and just going through it and having Kerslick take all of the mess that I feel is my life and sort of make sense of it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I haven't really told my story.
Yeah.
I've been keeping me really, really close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
So doing that process, it really helped me in the writing of this record. And we had so many songs that didn't make the record because it didn't tell my story. And I really wanted to tell my story on this album.
That's awesome. Were you guys working during the pandemic, like total lockdown?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we built like the twins are amateur construction. Like we
You guys do construction?
Well, we basically had our back room, which was our practice
you guys live in
room.
the same area.
Yeah, and it was our practice room. But we were like,
Perfect.
we need to like be able to record music here because everyone's locked down and isolated. So like, you
Crazy,
guys
man.
talk about how you did that.
So yeah, we spent like maybe a month or two building actual like studio racks to put the gear in, building tables, pretty much tiny housing our little room we had.
Cool.
Treating the walls, putting ceiling clouds up just to make it sound good. And we somehow pulled it off.
YouTube videos.
I was gonna ask you
YouTube
that.
videos helped you pull it off.
You watch YouTube videos, yeah.
Oh, you got it.
Like they were like looking at how to drill a hole.
Well, yeah,
Well, we
because
needed
it's
to put a
non-handyman
hole.
too.
We needed to put a
Okay.
hole in the wall from the live room to the garage side because we were trying to isolate the amps. We needed to run mic cables and speaker cables. So we bought something that drills a hole for dryer vents. Yeah, I would have never thought of that.
it totally worked
It totally
too.
I'm the worst like handyman person, man.
Well, if you need a dryer vent drilled, we have the tools
Okay,
for it.
man.
I've seen some home improvement stuff on your
Yeah,
page. You
I've
guys
been
are
hanging out with the people while they do it and learning
Yeah.
things and getting a little dirty. My wife's like, "Oh my god, all of a sudden you became a man of a couple months, whatever."
Yeah. Hey, dude.
I can't cook either. I'm the worst. I'm the
No,
worst,
it's
yeah.
fascinating though. I mean, how to build stuff like when you get in the weeds of
I
it.
know.
And when we were
I have
building,
so much respect for people that do that.
Me
yeah.
too.
So my whole life has been bringing mobile studios on tour, setting them up in
Yeah.
dressing rooms, and so like building my own like spot was really like kind of a mind thing because I was like, it's got to be simple, but like I want to have all of this, and then like so we're working on it, and I'm like, we're gonna just keep it super bare bones, and the next thing you know, I'm looking at the walls, and I'm like, some nice like khaki fabric might look good over
Khaki
here.
fabric?
Yeah. So I go to Joann's Fabrics online. Lockdown, they
yeah.
still were closed.
Damn.
They're sending me rolls of fabric, and I'm just fingers crossed that it's gonna look good. And then it shows up, and you're like, all right, twins, get the staple guns out, and we're just like staple gunning fabric on the wall. And the next thing you know, it's just like it's done, and we're ready to kind of like make this record. And it was just very insular in that way because it was just us in there. And
What year was that? 2020.
it was like it was the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 when there was
Wow.
like that other surge and
Yeah,
stuff. It was
yeah.
like wild
Full
times,
lockdown.
dude.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that, but let's
But yeah,
I hope it doesn't happen
Remember the
again.
first
But
day,
so many times
we had to
again.
wait in line at Home Depot outside because
Oh,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
only letting a few people in at a time. Me and Jesse were there, just like, all right,
Yeah, getting lumber.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get lumber too during that time too.
Yeah, it was all
Hard to get anything.
it was wild. I mean,
Shit was so stressful.
but the thing about making a record under those circumstances is you don't know if you're ever going to go on tour again.
Yeah.
You don't know when it's going to come out. So it didn't matter. So we could really just like
Be free and just write.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like there was a freedom there that was like,
There wasn't a time pressure. Like, even if you don't feel like singing, you have to get in there and sing right now.
I like that.
It was just whenever I felt like it. And a lot of the times it was, I'm a lifelong insomniac, and my days and nights have always been reversed since the day I was born, pretty much. So I get my second wind around midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. I get really wide awake. So around my second wind, Kevin would make some coffee.
like 2 a.m.
And
Coffee at 2 a.m.?
Hell yeah, coffee at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I just quit coffee 2 weeks ago to talk about it.
Okay.
Holy shit.
So that felt like that was really good for me to feel relaxed and to do it when I wanted to do it. And it was just Kevin and I in the room, you know?
Yeah. And
That's
just
nice, man.
like we were talking about when we first came in here, it's a small room. The air conditioning couldn't run while we were doing
Okay.
vocals because everything's in one room. So
So
it would get up to
sweaty.
85 in that room.
Or even hot. I thought it got hotter
Well,
than
I think
that.
it got to like 90 one time in the room because we have all that gear in there. So the preamps are warm, but it's so bad for the gear. So we were like on this teeter-totter of like, okay, sometimes I'd be like, all right, let's take 10. We're going to open the door
That's some
Yeah.
and just
fresh
let
air
some
in.
fresh air and run the AC for like 10 minutes. And then we're going to get back
Super
to it.
DIY.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and also when we were cutting the live tracks, it was Jesse, Justin, and I in the room playing live with our amps isolated in the next room. And it's like, as soon as 3 dudes are in a room playing music
So
with
hot.
no AC, it gets super hot super quick. So we'd be like, all right, after take 3, we're like, oh, do we have it? Like, I think we got it.
Or
you know?
after each take, you turn the AC on. They turn their fans
The
on.
cymbals would barely stop decaying, and we're like, get the AC back on.
Justin brought in this little like fan, and it was so funny because we were doing takes, and I was engineering, so I'd be like, okay, we finished that take. I got to make a new playlist and get ready to record the next one. It takes me about 40 seconds, right? Which is
Yeah.
pretty quick. In that 40 seconds, I would watch him like get a towel and like dry his arms off, put on a little fan, get in front
Turn
of it.
the
I'm
AC
like,
on.
and I was just like, the amount of effort you're putting into putting this fan on you right now, you're using more energy. It was hilarious.
Do you guys
though.
feel you were more creative too during the lockdown?
I feel that for me, I don't work that well under time constraints.
Yeah.
I get very nervous when there's time involved. Like
Yeah.
Especially
you have
lyrics too.
lyrics,
You
and
can't-
so
you can't just make them.
So
Nah,
I think for
you can be
this,
inspired,
I
too.
I would write lyrics, and Kevin and I did something that we've never done before, and that's, you know, we would have the song pretty much done or lyrically, but then we would get on our bikes. There's a couple of the lines that we felt that we could beat, but we were stuck on, and we would just get on our bikes and ride around town and shout lyric ideas back and forth to try and beat those lines.
That's
And
amazing.
I think that we did that on almost every song. Let's see if we can beat any of these lines by going on our bike rides. And we wrote a lot of stuff, and some of the songs,
Especially like verses and stuff.
some of
where
the
we just,
songs
like,
we threw out verses because the bike ride gave us whole new verses.
yeah, it was
cool,
weird.
man.
You get in a totally different mental space. Like
Yeah.
the least creative thing for me is like walking into a room with like a piece of paper thinking I need to write lyrics right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
it's the worst.
it's hard, you know, like
You want to force it.
you want it to kind of, or at least you need some sort of momentum to kickstart everything, and like it's you know,
It
so
would really help. I want to always write lyrics on a bike. I feel that
It's
I'm
a new
the
thing now for you.
Yeah.
I really feel that my best lyrics came from just
That's
being
so
on that bike.
I think so too.
And that would never happen if it wasn't for the lockdown. It's
100%.
crazy. I know.
100%.
Weird, necessity is the
positive
mother
things
of
came out.
invention. You know, yeah.
It was crazy how music was like the lowest of the essential ladder. Like I feel like nobody was talking about when's going to be shows again. When's this going to happen again? Like nobody really talked about music and how powerful it is and how it connects people and heals people.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for like to play the first show. You know what I mean? Then playing the first show, I was like, this is kind of weird, but yeah, I'm glad it's back. It's like now it's like over and everybody's touring. It's it's crazy.
It's
right
wild,
now.
dude.
Our first show back was so crazy. I have never seen us so more nervous
No, I
ever.
know.
Where was it at?
It was at a baseball stadium in Dallas.
Jesus. At least it's outside though.
Actually,
And you're in Texas.
it was actually one that had a roof.
Oh,
But a baseball stadium with a roof might as well be outside.
And so we went from being in our houses, being locked down, not being around anyone, completely isolating, of course, because we want to make sure that we're super healthy and everything. So being completely isolated, being just in your house for so long,
Yo.
and then being on a stage in front of how many people?
I mean, it was thousands and thousands and thousands of
A
people.
stadium,
night.
a full stadium.
It was like
Yeah.
your first
It
show like, in
was-
2 years almost.
It was a dream. It was amazing. But it was definitely so surreal because you can't believe that, you know, you just got to dust off the cobwebs.
Yeah.
They took you out and just put you there.
Yeah.
And we've been first to four
It's
on
two
like
extremes, you know?
Yeah.
we've been first to four on like club shows where you're like, wow, there's only like 10 people here. So like do the math on
I've
being
done
first to four in a stadium. With the first day we walked out, we were still like, oh my gosh, this place is like over halfway at capacity, which is
Damn.
like over 20,000 people are here already. Like we were.
Was it
Yeah.
a radio
we
show?
were
Who you guys played
It was
with?
Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I remember that tour. That's
yeah,
right.
and it was 20 shows. We went out there and
That was a crazy fun tour. Every night they had fireworks. They ended the night with fireworks.
That's cool.
Lots of concussions. Lots of.
yeah,
it was.
just
It was.
Concussions?
like the explosions on
Oh,
stage.
yeah,
Yeah, the explosions.
Lots of fanfare.
Fire
like
and
it was.
it was-
yeah.
it was-
That's a cool first tour back.
It was.
It was really awesome.
You guys doing your little bubbles too?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
We were
Locked in.
all bubbled up.
Yeah, we were all bubbled up.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
It was wild.
So this record comes out August 5th, and the Miri guys played on Camera. That was awesome. And there's a bunch of other songs I listened to. You sent me the record a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you guys have like 5 songs that are already out right now, all right? A couple songs that are already out?
I think there's
As We
4.
Live.
Anything Was Better.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
we live.
As We Live, Jailbird,
Jailbird.
and In the Mirror.
Yeah.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all awesome, man. They're all fucking
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
positive. Makes you happy, makes you want to dance. It's like, I don't know. I've heard you guys before. I saw you guys before, but then you sent me the record. I was just like, I don't know. It just feels nice to hear something, I don't know, upbeat and nice. And I don't know.
It's like kind of
Thanks.
like from
You guys
the
got positive vibes.
from the ashes of the pain. There's this that was the thing I noticed with Amy's lyrics on this one is like she's addressing some really heavy topics, but there's this air of like gratitude and like forgiveness and joy that comes through having experienced all of this horrible stuff.
Strength.
It's like a strength,
Yeah.
and so that means a lot to hear you say that.
Yeah.
You feel
Thank
the
you.
positive vibes because that's what music is. It's the best medicine in the world. It heals
really
all
is,
of us,
man.
you know.
It's
And
saved my life a million times.
And then talking about depression on your social media, that was huge too. I was like, it was powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not easy for me to open up. I've always been a very private person, and I've always just kept a lot of me hidden, I guess,
Yeah.
just to protect myself. I think it's just an act of preservation and protection.
Yeah.
But during the pandemic, if I could talk about the TMS,
Yes.
during the pandemic is when I did the TMS treatment in that for depression.
Magnets stimulate the brain and stuff, right? I looked
Yeah,
into it,
so they take there's a little part of the brain that they found in 100,000 brains that they studied. There's a little dark spot that doesn't light up. It doesn't get stimulation, and they noticed that was a sort of common theme to the people with major depressive disorder. Why is this part of the brain not lighting up?
Yeah.
So the TMS lights up that part of the brain. And when I went to, the reason I'm open to talking about depression now is because I really feel that even though I have good days and bad days, the severity of my depression is much, my condition has been much improved.
Okay.
And because of that, I'm able to talk about it. So and I'm hoping that me talking about it can help other
For
people.
sure.
Because when I went, they have you give us a scale of your depression between 1 and 10. 10 being you are actively thinking about ending your life. So when I went, I had been a 10 for a really long time. I'd been a 10 for as long as I could remember. I was always a 10.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of thought that that's how life. I just thought because of the life that I've had, I just thought that's just something that I'm gonna have to deal with my whole life.
That's your life, yeah.
And that I never thought that I'd been on many antidepressants, but nothing really helped me.
Yeah.
Maybe it would help me for like a short period of time, but then I would always my default was always a 10. Like I always was just really, really depressed. It's
Yeah.
just as a way of life. After the TMS and after doing it for weeks, one day I went and I was a 9, and a 9 was like you
Did they rate you that way?
they rate you. Well, no,
Okay.
they
It's like a questionnaire.
it's a
right?
questionnaire.
Questionnaire, okay.
So you rate yourself by looking at
Okay.
what that means.
Gotcha.
A 9 is that you don't really see the point of life. You don't really want to live, but you're not actively trying to come up with ways to kill yourself.
Gotcha.
So I was a 9 and I wasn't thinking about those sorts of things. I was like, well, I don't want to live, but I guess I'm not going to like do anything about it. But so I was a 9 after about a couple weeks, and I thought, well, you know what? If I'm just a 9, that's cool. And I became an 8, and I told the doctor, I was like, you know what? If I'm just an 8, which is basically almost it's still, you're still really depressed, but you're not actively wanting to die or think about it every single second of every day. Basically, I mean, it's not too far from 9, but I told the doctor, I was like, yo, if I am just an 8 for the rest of my life, this is a successful mission. This is amazing. And I think I'm going to have a much better quality of life just being an 8, because I didn't think it could really get any better than that. And I even told him, he said to me, I think we can get you down to a 1 or a 2. And he's like, looking at your file, looking at everything we know about you, I think that we could do it. And I laughed at him. I told him that was the most ridiculous thing. And if he had actually knew anything about my life, he'd know that maybe for other people, but not for me. Yeah. I was very skeptical. But I kept going. I went every single day. And at the end of the 6 weeks, I was a 2. I was a solid 2.
Wow, man.
And a 2 is when you wake up in the morning and you are so happy to be alive. Yes. And you are so grateful for everything in your life. And you can't wait to wake up and start your day and see all the adventurous, amazing things that could happen.
It's beautiful.
So I've been a 2 ever since then. Do you know Mr. Dates and Times?
Yeah, that was probably like February of 2021. Like, right,
awesome.
Yeah.
So
early.
Congrats.
So I have good days and bad days. I'll have a 2, a 3, or a 4,
Yeah.
but my default is a 2. Like, I wake up every day and I am so stoked I get another day. I have never, and I can't emphasize this enough, never in my entire life ever woke up in the morning and was happy to wake up. Every day since I was a little girl, I woke up going, another day.
Wow, man, it's fucking...
Like, I can't, and every day praying like to not wake up the next day. I've never not had that. I've always couldn't.
It's heavy.
And I looked at life as doing time. Like, so this was some sort of cosmic punishment.
Jeez.
And now I look at it as a celebration. And that song, As We Live, is sort of a celebration of that, of me being excited about being alive.
Yeah.
But I looked at Kevin, and as much as I love Kevin, I looked at Kevin as we are, is like sort of like my person that I've chosen, my partner I've chosen to do this time with. Like, we're just doing time to like
lock down together.
like like we're gonna make the best of this cosmic punishment,
Wow.
and I love Kevin with all my heart, but now, since I am a 2 and my brain is stimulated in the right places, I wake up and I look at Kevin and I'm like, I can't wait to see what kind of adventures we can have together, and
That's amazing,
all of
man.
the beautiful memories we can make. And it really truly feels like a rebirth. It's like I'm living for the first time,
That's amazing. It's beautiful, and congrats.
Thank you. Which is why I can talk about the depression, and because I feel I've come on the other end, and which is why I could on this record be so vulnerable and open up about so many things I've hidden for so long, because like I said, I was drowning. I couldn't talk. I couldn't tell people that I didn't know how to swim. I couldn't tell people that until I got to shore, dried off, looked back and said, okay, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm well enough to talk about it now.
It's going to help so many people. It's going to help
really
you
hope
first
so.
and foremost, but it's going to help so many people just talking about on here and the record, It's crazy because I look at you and I see this guy and these guys and the band, the music you make and the life you live. And from the outside, it's like, it's amazing. It's wonderful, but you don't think what people are really going through. Do you know? You can't really inside here. And it's really powerful because it's like you could talk to anybody. Did you guys talk about things during the whole course of the things you're going through, or you kept them all just to you?
Oh no, Kevin knows that.
Yeah,
Kevin knows,
okay, we've been married.
Kevin knows me better than I know myself.
Almost 9 years.
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, we've been together 12, almost 13.
Yeah,
like,
and
we've been together a long time.
I'm so grateful he stuck with me through all of the years of not
Kevin.
wanting to live. I can't imagine, and it breaks breaks my heart that he had his partner didn't want to live.
I couldn't imagine.
And now, I mean, it's almost like we get a whole new start to a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even with like this band too, like the beginning years of how we approached what we do versus how we approach it now is all changed, I think.
You can feel a different energy move. And
yeah,
energy
that
vibes.
kind of like gratitude has kind of just like I mean, we've always been super grateful to do what
We've
we
always
do.
been very grateful.
But now it is the fuel that's in the tank is the gratitude. And it's like, because you know how it is on tour, man. It's super easy to be like, oh, gosh, where's the bathroom? Oh, no, like, what do I, what?
And that's
or whatever. But
like, that's the thing about a major depressive disorder. That's the thing about depression. It doesn't really have to do with your circumstances.
Yeah.
You could have all of the most amazing circumstances of the world and be super grateful for it. But there's something in your brain
like
that's
chemical,
happening that you
Yeah.
can't explain to anyone. You can't fix it.
It's
you don't
real.
know. And you feel it's so profoundly lonely because you know that there's all of these things that should be making you happy, and yet there's something wrong, you know?
That must be hard too. Like, how come this can't all fulfill, you know, like my heart and my love and everything, but it's something. Yeah, you grew up, things happen.
Who knew that magnets, dude?
I know,
magnets
it's crazy.
would make me so stoked.
Is it a scary process, the magnets and stuff? Was it?
So at first it was for sure because it's a
You
little.
posted a picture, right? Of the magnet.
Yeah, you put a little helmet on, and it's a little woodpecker kind of type feeling where it's like on your brain. And in the beginning, they sort of kind of have to dial it in, and for like the first couple of days, you know, they're dialing it in, and when I would get home, my hand would start doing, you know, stuff like that. So I thought, oh no, so I went back and I'm like, hey, is my hand supposed to be shaking when I'm at home? And they're like, oh no, we'll just adjust it a little bit. And then it never happened again.
Wow.
So
you're messing with the brain, which is like a
Gnarly,
mystery. You
yeah,
know? Like,
but it doesn't hurt. It's take a little Tylenol, a little ibuprofen or whatever. It can kind of take the edge off just the uncomfortableness of it. But
how many times you done it?
So you do every day for 6 weeks. You take a week off. I mean, a day off a week.
Yeah, you take like, I think
so
Sundays
6 days
off,
a week for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it worked. It's working. You're level 2. That's.
And here's the thing: is that they say that a lot of the time, after 2, 3, 4 years, you go back for a tune-up. So you don't have to go back for as long, but you go back and you stimulate that part of the brain, and it kind of gives a little tune-up. So I'm always checking in with myself. I'm like, am I still a 2 today? Because if I start creeping up 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm gonna call the doctor and be like, I need a tune up. So they say it happens after a couple of years, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. You know, and it's so. Hope is the most amazing gift in the world because what this is hope. Yeah. Because I was so hopeless for so long. Now the fact that I have a tool that if I do start feeling that deep despair creep into my life, in my mind, I know that there's a phone number I can call, there's a place I can go, there's a tool, there's something I can do that will get me back on track.
So you know works,
that I know works, yeah.
And it's not pills, it's actually going to get treatment.
Exactly. And the thing is that my insurance covered it 100%.
Sick.
Because basically, if you've had a history of trying antidepressants over the course of I don't know how many years, like 5 years, if you've tried X amount of antidepressants, then your insurance covers it 100%. I mean, mine did.
That's great to know.
It can cover it 100%. So yeah.
You want to shout your insurance company or no?
Blue Shield.
I got Blue Shield too. I didn't know that. I got Blue Shield too.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. So we got 3 brothers in the band. I was in the band with my brother for 20 years. Obviously, I have like a list of like all the bands who have brothers in them. I try to figure out.
Oh, nice.
Not just the Jonas Brothers or Hanson. Sick of It All, Youth Brigade, you guys, Jackson 5, NXS, Good Charlotte, Beach Boys, Devo, AC/DC, Van Halen, the Bee Gees, Kings of Leon. Pretty good, right?
7
That's
seconds.
really good.
7 seconds, yeah. Steve Youth. Ooh, you like 7 seconds?
Yeah, one of our first tours.
I love you guys more now. It's my favorite band in the whole world.
We love them like family.
Yeah.
Me too, Kevin.
Absolutely.
I just saw him play with Circle Jerks. His voice was like a fucking angel.
Yeah.
It sounded so good, all those songs.
That
Big
tour was
influence.
awesome.
It's a great tour, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, they were instant family.
Yeah, they took us out really early
took us-
on.
I know,
Before
that's
our
amazing.
I don't even think our first record was out. Or it just came out. It was right
So
after
you're
our first
stoked
record.
to have them. Now they're back. It's so exciting to see them
They're-
playing.
I know,
Because
yeah.
Kevin was bummed about it. You know what I mean? It's great to see him back.
It's great
Yeah.
to see him back.
So obviously you guys bicker. It's a family, right? Like
We
it's
actually
not-
don't, which is weird.
Really?
We got it all out of the way pretty early on.
Okay, respect.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know each other so well at this point. I mean,
You guys are perfect.
we have disagreements for
Yeah.
sure, but like we don't like.
But the twins don't. I mean, it's very, very.
I love they call you the twins. Man.
Wait, here's one.
Very
Here's
rare.
one. The twins, when the twins get into it, that's the funniest.
That's the funniest.
That's when we go.
And when if
The
they
names are
it's-
Justin and Jesse. Everybody listening.
Justin and Jesse sometimes, and it's always about the same thing. Are you ready for what it's about?
Yes.
Sound checks in an hour, and we still haven't decided where we're gonna go. Like get food, and I'm really hangry. And then they're like, dude, like we got to figure out like it's. And then we're always like,
We
call it a twin fight, but it's not a fight. They're just
Yeah.
like, hey man, like, are you done there on your laptop? Like, let's go get some food. Like,
it's really small stuff.
It is.
But when they do, if there is any rare moment where they disagree, Kevin and I just start laughing so hard because it's so funny. It's so rare.
It doesn't last long, right? It's
No.
probably quick.
No, I mean even for all of us, like there's
We get out the popcorn. We're just like,
we don't we don't fight like that. If we disagree on something creatively, the trick is to just understand where the other person is coming from and hopefully find that middle ground. And we always kind of agree in the end. It's weird. It's like this. There's a weird thing that happens where it's like you understand why we want to do this thing you don't want to do, right? And it's everyone's always like, yeah, I do, and that goes
You
both.
talk about it, not yell about it.
Yeah, no, it goes both ways. And like, in the early days, like maybe.
there was a little bit too much Jameson.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing, dude.
Are you guys all sober now?
So I haven't drank in almost 7 years. 7 years in like a couple weeks.
And
Congratulations.
that changes the
Dynamic.
ecosystem
Yeah.
of our whole
Yes.
thing because we all used to just get hammered, and now it's like a very
We
like
used to finish a bottle of Jameson before going on.
no, each person.
Before you
Yeah.
guys performed?
before we
Yeah.
performed.
You too?
Oh,
yeah. I would
Wow.
I would have a how I might drink a lot.
We drank a lot.
You'd be buzzing while you're performing?
Oh.
Every single time.
Was that for nerves? That help for your nerves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and just all around.
Because you wanted to party?
But you know what? We were young and dumb. But the fact of the matter is, we would have a bottle of Jameson before we went on and a bottle of Jameson after we went on.
Wow.
And I don't know how we lived.
we played too fast.
And we played way too fast.
Did you
and
guys go back and watch videos from back then?
Yeah.
Still do.
Actually, do you know what's so funny? We played some shows together. Like we went to Europe for like 4 weeks or
Yeah.
something. Right, like about 4 weeks.
2016.
And it was the
See?
gnarliest. It was the it was the gnarliest tour. No, 15.
15. That's what I said.
Yeah, gnarliest tour we've ever done as
Twins
far
up
as
there.
like partying and drinking, and also it was the one where like we actually did fight. You know, like we had like days where we weren't talking, and like I remember there's like one point when I like tried to knock. The twins were staying in this bunk bed in this band
Oh my
flat.
God.
I tried to knock over their bunk bed. I threw Amy's doner kebab
Dude,
at them.
he threw my only dinner. I was so
like
hungry.
3
I was
in the
about to
morning.
eat. I was about to
Yeah.
eat my dinner, and Kevin threw it at the
Dude,
twins.
I was so upset.
and everything was closed. I'm still.
Oh, yeah. Late night in Europe or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Starving.
Every-
And, we were,
Yeah.
and look, it was like 3 a.m, and I was so hammered. And we had a really toxic tour manager that I was just wanted to have a conversation about. And the twins were like, "We're tired. We're going to bed." And I'm like, "We have to talk about this right now." And then I got really upset and I started screaming, "You guys never listen to me!" What I didn't know was there's
and
a,
he threw my dinner.
there's a band called Teenage Bottle Rocket that was
Yes.
also in town. They were staying on the floor right above us.
And they heard the beef?
And they were like, dude, Ray has told me that like with the covers up, just like with their eyes, like, "Are you hearing this?" And then we go to do Warped Tour like a year later, and Ray was like, "Yeah, man, that was a heavy night. Like we heard Amy screaming," and I was like, "Oh, that was me, bro."
No, he goes. No, he said we heard Amy screaming. You guys never listen to me.
I was like, "Dude, that was me." But anyways, yeah. So like,
Yeah, I was quiet, just trying to pick my dinner off the twins' beds.
I know.
That was also one of those things where then, like, after a day or two, we realized what it was actually about, and we got on the same page. Like, okay, yeah, we understand.
We haven't
Yeah.
fought like that
The last 2
since.
weeks of
That-
the tour were like the best.
Yeah,
days
yeah.
Of the tour.
Yeah.
Did you all kind of stop drinking and partying together?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, here's the thing. When she stopped, we were all like, "Okay, we're not gonna drink like before we go on stage. It's not gonna be the habit of like this band. We're not gonna. Everyone's gonna be super clear-headed like
Yeah.
when we play.
yeah,
the
no one
show.
drinks before stage now.
And now,
Yeah.
and also everyone takes just the the getting ready and the warming up super serious. And now it's like at a point where like if someone wants to have a couple beers after the show or whatever, but it's just like also we check in with each other and make
It's-
sure that the vibes are good. You know.
Seems like a very loving unit, you guys. Like, there's like, you care about each other, your family. You know what I mean? Look out for each other.
100%.
If some guy's like having a rough one or falling off, you say something to him, and right?
yeah,
It's awesome.
there's a lot of love
And even
and respect.
yeah, respect.
in our
yeah.
like touring party, like our crew that we've had, just for, like we love these guys like family, all of them, and our everybody in our team. It is a family, and it's just been So we're lucky, but yeah, definitely like her. Stopping drinking inspired us to new levels because we saw this.
She led by example.
It was 100% leading by example,
Yeah.
and it's like we can't walk up there and like not give it all we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for sure. I would. That would not be. That would. Well, I think there was maybe a show or two that you guys drank when I didn't, and I would.
Oh, right at the beginning.
In the very, very,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
Did
yeah.
it
beginning.
bother you then?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was
First
like,
tour.
well, I'm not doing it, and I'm picking out all of the things that are wrong with what you guys did, and I know for a fact you wouldn't have made those mistakes, those simple mistakes, had you been sober.
Yeah, I remember that. No, that was those like
it was just right in the beginning. It was just the beginning, and I didn't ask them to not drink, but they probably didn't ever want to hear that from me again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You give me a reason to.
So you guys, when you were drinking, you weren't really noticing if you weren't tight or a fuck up because you were.
Yeah.
buzzing,
Also, we all want to be operating at the same
course.
vibes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But it's a
especially when you're up
respect. It's a
there.
respect thing too that they. I feel that they respect me to not to do that. I didn't ask them to not do it, but I think it's really cool that they don't.
When did this band become something we're like, okay, this is our career. This is what we do. Only doing this band. Was there a moment? Was there a record? Was one of the songs on the radio?
We all committed to it, but go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think it's still pretty recent because even going back to like 2017, 2018, we're still being roadies for other bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what your
I
last
think
real
it's-
job was,
it
but
kind of for me, I think it was Kerosene actually, like getting on the radio.
Yeah.
and kind of our crowd getting a little bigger and playing bigger shows. Yeah, for me.
it was a game changer.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's like
I will still guitar tech if someone is looking for.
No, I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing is we definitely committed early on, but it was like a struggle to like obviously like keep the bills paid. But luckily, we
Yeah.
all had the same common goal in mind, and we were like, "Yo, whatever money this band makes, we're gonna put into us being able to keep doing it." And then in
Put
the
it back
off
in.
time,
Yeah.
I would engineer for other bands and record records for other
Yeah.
bands. And try to like keep the like if we were like didn't have enough for our van payment one month, I'd be like, all right, I'll cover like what I can. It was just
Team player.
yeah, and that's kind of
I
how
mean,
we've always been.
We slept in the same room, all of us,
Forever.
for
with our merch guy driver.
for a very long
Oh, like
time.
one hotel room, you mean?
One hotel room
we
with
get
us.
2 beds. Me and Amy get a
I
bed.
love it, man.
Jesse, Justin get a bed, and then our merch dude would sleep in the bathtub or like on a rollaway or like on the floor.
Blow up mattress.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 of us to a room every night, doing many tours
Yeah.
like that.
And then Europe, we would stay in the dressing room. You ever done those gigs where they like
Yeah.
pull a curtain
Yeah.
and there's bunk beds in
Or
the
we play
dressing
like a
room?
squat or something.
Yeah,
you can see
yeah.
after.
We've done all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Paid your
like,
dues.
you know, you have to because early on, touring's expensive, man. Like
It is.
you have to.
I drank
Make
through
it
a lot
work.
of those years.
Yeah. It's true though. Yeah. By the time it got like, you know, a little more comfortable, it's like, you know, but then that makes you want to work even harder when it
Yeah.
gets, when you get those opportunities, you know, you can't.
And we appreciate what we have with a depth that
Yeah.
we wouldn't appreciate if it was handed to us.
Yeah.
It's true.
And you were on a bunch of stuff like you did Jimmy Cliff, Plus 44,
Yeah.
Wolf Transplants, Machine Gun Kelly, Boss Tones, all kinds of stuff with Tim, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
engineering, programming, mixing, all that stuff.
All
right?
that, yeah. Like, so even right after the transplants, like Tim has a studio, you know, Travis has a studio. I'd go
Yeah.
back and forth and just work with whoever they were working with engineering. And I got to work on so many great records. I mean, doing that Jimmy Cliff record with Tim, you know, engineering and
It
mixing.
was like
that
Grammy
and-
or something for that. too,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I mean, honestly, as it kind of should have, because like that's like 2 legends meeting up.
It's crazy,
You got a
man.
legendary producer, songwriter Tim, and then
Yeah.
legendary singer Jimmy Cliff, and the record that those dudes like conceptualized and made
It's a
together
masterpiece. I love
is
it.
Yeah, it's
we still
beautiful,
listen
man.
to that all the time.
Yeah,
too,
Yeah.
by
it's
the
one of my
way.
favorite records.
Yeah.
What did you do with Machine Gun Kelly?
I played. It depended on the song, really. Like I'll play keyboards.
Was it
Guitar.
hip hop or the more
No,
newer
the
stuff?
the ones that Travis
Oh,
was
okay,
producing
okay.
with him. Yeah. So probably only in the last like since 2020. Yeah.
And the
yeah.
Boss Tones record was great. Their last record was awesome.
Yeah, man.
I was stoked to be part of that.
That was cool.
Really fun. You guys
Yeah.
played with them before, obviously.
Yeah, they took us out on our first record too. That we did the hometown throwdown before we had a record.
Yeah,
out,
we
I
did that
think.
before too.
Yeah.
The Boston one. It's so
Yeah.
good, man.
And now every time we go to Boston, dude, it's just like everyone's so
It
cool.
feels like
and-
a homecoming
you guys
show.
have good shows out there, right?
Yeah, because we also toured with Dropkick.
Oh, yeah,
we
man.
toured with So we've been lucky
There was like this. Well, there's like old school New York, Boston rivalry with the Yankees and the Red Sox.
for
and
sure.
We opened for the Dropkicks once in Boston. The whole crowd was chanting, "Fuck the Yankees" at us. And I was like, I don't even like sports. I don't even fucking do that.
I'm same.
It was scary though. It was a little scary.
Yeah, they
Wow.
take it serious over
They
there.
really take it serious.
Wow.
You guys seem like you guys all consider yourself kind of optimists. You seem like positive people.
Yeah.
try. You
Yeah, but
gotta.
it's really easy to get pessimistic.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, yeah.
I'm optimistic about the ability to get through something.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not optimistic that no shit is gonna come at me
Yeah.
or that
Yeah.
the world isn't, just a disaster. But I'm optimistic that we can get through.
That we can
things.
find a
We
way
can
out
find
of
a way
that.
through
Yeah.
it.
Sounds like you're a realist, kind of. I don't know. Some people, my wife says she's a realist. I don't know. you're like in between, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I have good days and bad days. Some days I, turn on the news and I
Oh,
turn it
man.
immediately off. And I'm
News
like,
is horrendous.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, the news is horrendous.
it can make you feel pretty. It could ruin your day. It can make you feel pessimistic about things. But I just think we gotta fight. We gotta fight to keep our sanity and
Yeah.
strong mental health, and to try and be optimistic and try
Yeah.
and find the good and try and just. I
do
think
what
it's,
we can to move it all forward, and
Yeah.
You guys are doing. You're making people dance, making people smile. You know what I mean? You guys are doing your part.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
mean, I do like to dance and I do like to smile. You know?
What about the twins? You guys are pretty positive.
Yeah. But like I said, it's easy to get pessimistic.
Yeah.
So
About what kind of
cautiously
things?
Optimistic.
Just life. right?
cautiously optimistic.
yeah.
No, the twins are always good vibes.
Yeah, they got good energy. Over there.
I never really see them like
Get mad?
go too far down the
The negative rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard with the internet too.
Also, that kind of energy can ruin, a room. Of people.
Yeah.
100%.
We're really careful about our energy that we bring around people.
Yeah.
We're not, because we're all in such a short, in such small spaces together.
Yeah.
We try and be respectful and make sure that the energy we're bringing into the room isn't going to be dragging other people down or like bumming other people out. Just,
I
and
love that, man.
otherwise we'll remove ourselves and collect ourselves so that we're not having everybody be affected by what we're going through.
I love that, man. You guys are like very respectful of each other.
We gotta. I mean, obviously everyone has good days and bad days, but like it's about raising the vibrations. What are you
And
gonna?
we learn from all the people that we've toured with. So
Yeah.
like going on the road with Rancid early in our career, huge inspiration, and the way they treat their crew, the way they
Yeah.
operate
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
off stage.
Fully family vibe. I think that's the
Yeah.
thing about a lot of bands that came up in punk rock, like from Rancid to Green Day to the Boston's to the Dropkick Murphys. All these bands have taken us out 7 seconds. Like there's no like rock stars. Everyone's
Yeah.
kind of like all for one,
All
one
equal.
for all. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I love that. The Boston's
Yeah.
taught us that too. They took us out in '96, just showing how to treat each other, treat the opening bands,
Yep.
sharing
Yeah.
the catering with us, being on time, doing
Yeah.
actual sound check. Because we were like, they were like in a bus, we were in a van, we were always like pulling up almost late. And
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Dickie
yeah,
would
for
scold us, you know what I mean? Like just be more professional, and they really helped us out with that, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's a big crew to run, the Boston's, man. There's so many members and
Yeah.
crew and moving parts, and
for sure.
They really taught us a lot and took us under their wing and treated us like family.
Would you, what are some of your influences now? Do you guys listen to new stuff? Any new bands or?
I mean, I'm a fan of just good songwriting.
Yeah.
So I love Leonard Cohen. I love
Mhm.
Brandy Carlisle.
Brittany Carr, yeah.
I-
so good. Yeah.
Is she still making music too?
Oh yeah, her
she's
last
crushing.
record. It came out probably in the last like 8 months, and she did like SNL.
Oh, that's
with
right. I
it.
saw
Yeah,
it. That's
it's
right.
So killer. Like, but yeah. What about?
I mean, me and Justin are always guilty of going backwards.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we like when you find a band like Rancid early on, you're like, wow, they're great. Who are their influences?
I
And then
love
you
that,
move
man.
backwards, and then you find the Ramones, and you're like, that's awesome. Who were their influences?
Yeah.
And you just keep moving backwards.
Then your Shangri-Las, yeah, and then
Yeah,
you
so
keep
it's new to
going, yeah.
us. It's not new music.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of finding new old music.
I love that.
Mhm.
I like how Kate Bush is super huge now from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how like my sons, it's just people telling me about it. And I saw this UFC fight, this young fighter came out. So I'm like, he had to watch Stranger Things. But I read that she's making like 250,000 pounds a week or something. She's making like almost $500,000 a week. Since it came out.
Wow.
And like she lives in England and she got kids and
Wow.
it's
for
incredible.
her.
Yeah,
I
good
know it's
for her.
incredible
I
the
mean,
power. And she owned it. She wrote it. Everything. That song's produced all by her.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's just hers.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
I know, man.
So
I
cool.
love that song and I remember it so much. But then seeing it on that show, it was perfect.
No,
It
that's
just
awesome.
changed everything for them, you know?
I mean, we've had similar things where we've gotten a song like in a show or
Yeah, I
like
was gonna
a
ask you
commercial
that.
or something, and like it's the same thing where people come up to us and that's how they discovered us, you know. And it's just
Mm.
like it's also
It's
cool
cool.
because like some of the stuff was like that Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, they played your song in there?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
song's huge. I mean, the show's huge.
Yeah, exactly. And we weren't aware of it.
What?
And then when it was season 2, and then when season 2 came out, we're like, oh, and we checked out the show, and we're like, whoa, the show's rad. And then there was a show on HBO called Shameless that used our song.
Yeah, I saw
And then
that.
I was like,
Yeah,
dude,
I love
like
Shameless.
it's such a cool way. And I actually discover music that same way too. Like
Okay.
I am like if I hear something and it perks my interest, I'm always just like, dude, like I Shazam it and figure it out.
Yeah.
And like I mean, how many times have you been at restaurants and I'm like, what is this song? I'm like holding my phone up to the ceiling. I'm like, oh, this is so rad.
And my son's like finding songs from TikTok. It's like 15-second videos. Like, what is this song he played from? I don't know what it is. What's this hip hop song? We have to look it up. But kids are discovering so much music on TikTok. You guys on TikTok?
We have a TikTok.
You know, you like it, right?
I think nobody's like lukewarm on TikTok.
I'm not on there.
Either you're on there 24 hours a
gotta go
day.
hard.
Or, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Is like we tried.
It seems like a full-time job.
It
you know?
is. But I heard it's like crushing more than anything. But it's just like I feel I can't, man.
You know, as a band, you have to have some sort of presence. But
What's your take on social media and how much you guys really on it?
I think it can be absolutely devastating to mental health if
100%,
not
man.
managed properly. So I like to have a little timer how much I allow myself to be on it.
Yeah.
And I only get on it when I've eaten something, when I'm rested, when I have energy, I've had my coffee, and I have enough mental strength to be on it.
Wow.
If it's late and I'm tired, or I'm hungry, or I'm kind of my defenses are down or whatever, and I go on it that way, it can, you know, make it so I can't get to sleep, or that it can.
Yeah.
I'll read something that just bums me out, and I'm not.
You can't control it how it affects you.
But you can't. But I've noticed that same exactly. If I see like a bad comment, for example, that same exact comment that I read, if I read it after some coffee, after a night's rest, and I've eaten some food, and I feel great,
it wouldn't get to you?
I look at it and I'm like, oh well, it has nothing to do with me. That just says more about who that person is than it has. I'm not going to take it personal.
Yeah.
But if I read that same exact comment after a really long day where I'm really exhausted, and maybe I didn't have dinner, or just had an orange or something, and I've only slept a couple hours, and I read that same comment, it could make me cry. So
same.
You know what I mean?
I'm super sensitive to it, but it's like, first of all, you're never going to win an argument on the internet, and a lot of those people are bots. They're never going to say anything to your face. It's crazy how much time people spend writing negative things about people and making comments. It's insane. It's insane to me, man. The time
they would never do it in person. But here's the other thing: I watch her connect with people who are like write her really personal messages, and she'll sit there for 2 hours writing. I'll be like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm writing all these people back," and I'm like, "That's the beautiful thing about social media."
That is like a heartfelt, sentimental DM you get about something that connects.
Yeah. And I do that when I, like I said, when I'm rested and when I feel good. I've noticed that social media can't get to me if I'm at my strongest when I open it. If I'm feeling weak in any way, shape, or form, and I open it, it's just, it could, you know.
Yeah, dude, I've read
it. Doesn't manage the situation very well.
I 1,000 positive comments and one negative one. It fucks you up the whole day.
I grew my hair out just a little bit, and somebody called me the Dutch boy, and literally the next day I was in the chair getting it all cut off.
No way, because one random
person. I didn't know what the Dutch boy was.
Trolls out there listening. It's crazy.
We're human beings.
Come call me.
We have feelings, and people people can say things thinking that we're just not human.
We're
and
immune to it. We're not.
It can dehumanizing.
It can feel
so frustrating, man. And then or if you write somebody back and actually respond, they're like, "Oh my God, you responded! I can't believe I'm a fan. I was just joking." Or they'll screenshot it, they'll send it around. It's so dangerous, some of that shit, responding to people depending what they say. My wife said,
we don't respond to negativity.
No, not at all.
We only respond to positivity.
I know. And there's so much like. It's crazy to just focus on the one negative thing, right? Like the rest of your day, like one stupid fucking comment, man.
Yeah.
It'll get you.
And then you go outside and you go play a show and it's fucking awesome and everybody's awesome.
Exactly.
It's like not real life, man. It's so hard to separate the two, you know? Like,
and that's the thing. If we put a bunch of energy into like just trying to really crush it on TikTok, what's that going to do to our shows, really?
What does it do?
I don't know actually what it does. Maybe we'd get a couple more fans, but like we really we try to spread our energy and like conserve our energy to like put on the best shows we can, tour as much as possible where we're not killing ourselves, and like we could sustain it and like go to as many places as
the good
possible.
old-fashioned way.
Yeah, seeing
like,
people in real life and connecting with them. That's beautiful,
seeing people
man.
in real life and connecting and getting fans that way.
The one thing that I saw that TikTok did 2 years ago is Gym Class Heroes had a song and it blew up on TikTok, and then they got a gold plaque like 7 months later.
Oh yeah, see that's cool. That happened to our
crazy,
friends, the Dirty Heads. That happened too. They had a song that blew up on TikTok and they got a gold plaque.
That's just kind of cool to see for your friends or like an old record or something.
Yeah, but you can't make that happen. That's just spontaneous, you know.
I know. I do feel like if I wasn't promoting a podcast on my band, I wouldn't be on social media because it is mentally draining. You can't go down the rabbit holes and see one thing and then it sucks, man.
Yeah, if I'm having a day where I just don't have the strength to, or I'm just feeling sensitive, you know, a little just whatever, maybe some hormones are happening in my body, and I feel like anything. I'm gonna watch a Hallmark movie, I'm gonna cry, or at a Coke commercial or something. If I'm feeling real sensitive, I'll just ask Kevin or the twins to do stuff, because I won't be able to do it that day.
Yeah. You guys have any I know you guys drink coffee. Any daily rituals?
Daily rituals?
Rituals.
I mean, you guys all coffee people?
Yeah, we're all coffee people. We all have our very specific coffees that we like.
Like Rusty, he'll walk 10 miles in every small country in Europe and go one spot.
We actually do have a daily ritual.
What you got?
We earth.
Oh yeah, we try to earth every day.
So
break that down for the listeners.
Okay, so have you seen the documentary, The Earthing movie?
No,
the science
but I'll watch
of grounding.
it.
Oh, dude.
Okay, I'll watch it.
It's gonna change your life.
Okay.
So it's free on YouTube. It's
Okay.
called The Earthing Movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's not called The Grounding Movie.
No, it's the Earthing movie.
The Earthing Movie. And basically it talks about the science of, and I know it sounds crazy, but the healing properties of the combination of the earth and the sun. So putting your bare feet on the earth, facing the sun, getting that vitamin D and and the earth energy.
Yep. Classic combo.
A classic combo.
You apparently, if you stand with your bare foot on the earth, something happens to like your blood flow, the cells in your body, and everything.
And inflammation.
Because it's kind of how we were meant to be.
Yeah.
If you watch the movie, it's explained a lot better.
watch it.
But like we started wearing these like rubber-soled shoes like mid-century, and it kind of disconnected everybody from the earth. But if you think about it, like look at like toddlers, like they always want to be barefoot. It's like kind of our instincts. And
if we have a headache or a stomach ache or something, we've been going out into earth, and your headache and your stomach ache will go away. Like
it's got
instantly.
anti-inflammatory properties, and I'm not a doctor, so don't come after me on.
But it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to recharge all of your body's
electrons.
You started doing that recently?
During the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, we had lots of times to discover things.
Try different things.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this. You do that.
But I
every
think
day.
you would dig this too, because it's been a very natural approach to
Yeah.
it. But watch the movie; it's an easy watch.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. It's like an hour long. It's
Yeah.
like,
Down.
yeah.
So that's party every day.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah.
How many
Coffee and
copies-
earth.
How many copies a day you want?
Just one.
Okay. But
Sick.
nighttime, do you want? You guys doing nighttime ones?
When we're
When
recording,
we're
yeah. I mean,
he'll do it.
doesn't affect your sleep at all, right? Well, you don't sleep
No,
anyway, you said.
nothing affects his sleep.
Other than
He could drink
caffeine doesn't
15
affect my
cups of
sleep.
coffee.
But you
and
don't
go to
sleep.
No.
No,
Okay.
she doesn't sleep no matter what.
Well, I mean,
Well, she does,
I
it's just
do
late.
sleep. I just don't sleep at night.
yeah, like 4 or
You're a
5 in the
vampire.
morning. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
I respect. What about the twins?
Sorry, I was gonna say us Bavona boys grew up drinking Coca-Cola like it was water.
Okay.
Oh,
and I
that's
think
true.
that flipped how our bodies accept caffeine.
Okay.
So we're the same way. Like if we have caffeine at night, it doesn't affect us.
And what's your
Yeah.
daily rituals? Twins?
Coffee.
I'm
first
calling you
thing in the
twins now.
morning.
Coffee what?
One coffee in the morning.
Breakfast.
And
Oh, they
breakfast.
make
We
breakfast
make
every
breakfast.
morning.
Oh, you
too.
do? You
They're-
make- you
They
cook-
do. We don't.
Yeah, omelets or breakfast sandwiches or pancakes. French
You cook for
toast,
everybody,
like-
or just cook for your?
You know what? That's a great question.
Yeah. Why don't you?
We
why,
have
don't you
twins.
why don't you guys answer that question honestly?
You cook for your section of the house. Like what is it?
Yeah, they don't cook breakfast for us enough. And in fact, yesterday we sent them a screenshot of Kevin and I having a conversation within the house, and I just texted Kevin. I was like, "Why won't the twins take care of us? They need to feed us." And Kevin's like, wrote back,
I was like, help. But
Not
You
even
guys are
home,
good
so-
cooks,
"They weren't home.
Yeah, I like to think so.
They're great cooks."
and you both cook, and you both. You do a
You're
lot.
great.
You do a lot of the same things because you're twins. Is that real life that happens like that?
And they do feed us sometimes. I'm not saying
yeah,
they
no,
don't.
they do.
We
Pasta
just want them
nights,
to feed
too.
us all the time.
Dude, their marinara, their pasta game is on
So
another
good.
Self-taught,
level.
you
Yeah,
too,
I could
but-
do an Italian feast passed down from
Okay.
our grandfather to our father to me.
Oh, that's nice.
But also,
man.
yeah, a lot of Food Network when we were teenagers.
Okay.
Too. Just for some reason.
And Kevin's got no skills at cooking.
No, I mean I'm not trusted. As you know what? I'm fire sandwiches. I could
You
make
a really good salad dressing.
He's really good
I
at
can make
sandwiches.
salad dressing.
What
and
kind
I
of
can,
sandwiches? Like a sub?
No, yeah, that's the thing. Is like people think sandwiches are easy, but like I have the ratios
The
perfect.
layers.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
layers,
yeah.
the sauces.
He's
and
really
the,
good. I don't even attempt to make a sandwich because his is just so good.
And you don't want to take a bite of a sandwich and have everything fall out one end.
Yeah,
so.
you know when someone else makes your sandwich, how it's always better than if you make it yourself. I'm that
Yeah.
someone else.
Okay. Would you guys ever do like catering stuff like that?
Yeah,
or
we
no?
actually that was a big joke
for us during the pandemic. It's like, well, if concerts never come back, we'll just open a restaurant.
Dude, the
Or
first time we
do a
played
food
Kimmel,
truck or something.
they made trays of rigatoni and sauce and stuff and brought it, and Jimmy ate it and was like, "Whoa, this is legit."
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we're big Italian festival fans. You know, they had the Feast of San Gennaro all the time, and
Oh yeah, I had that in New York too.
and they stopped doing it. But we went every year to that festival.
And I'm probably the only person in the world who dreams the Warped Tour will come back so I could be the barbecue
Oh
band.
man, the barbecue band. Have you guys been to Pura Vida?
No.
It's a vegan Italian restaurant. The girls from New York.
Oh, I've heard
Brooklyn,
about that.
She opened it up. It's amazing, man.
Really?
It's
We
on
gotta check
Santa
it out.
Monica Boulevard, and they have one in Redondo.
Pura
Sick.
Vida. I gotta check
Pure
Yeah.
Vita.
Okay. All
You
right.
guys gonna
Legit.
go soon, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me make sure I have everything on here. That was wonderful. I really appreciate
Can I
it.
see
Oh,
your
man.
handwriting really quick because it's
Oh
dude,
my gosh,
we
it
have the
looks-
same
it looks
exact
just like her
handwriting.
We do?
Exact to the point
it's
where
not
I
that
keep
good though,
thinking
right?
it's exact. That looks exactly like my handwriting.
Yeah.
Better than mine.
I think she's making notes.
Okay, so
It
the
doesn't-
record's coming out this Friday, August 5th. This Friday, August 5th, in the wild, Hellcat Records, new album, Interrupters. Super posy, super fun. Could dance to it in your fucking room. Stoked you guys are here, man. I'm trying to make sure I got all my notes done. I know you guys are busy. Have to bother you for part 2 someday.
Dude,
For sure.
You guys have any top 5s, any artists or anybody you love or a big number one inspiration in your life? Is there one person besides you guys, each
Ooh.
other, but musician or artist or author? You can go first. Amy knows.
Well, Leonard Cohen
Okay.
Brian-
and Tim Armstrong.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm gonna go Brian Wilson. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet sensitive soul.
Let the twins have their
Is it weird to say George Carlin?
That's sick.
No, that's
Yeah,
great.
I like
Gangster,
discovered him when I was
bro.
12 years old and just
Dude.
like
And
changed
George,
my
That new
life.
documentary.
Can I say George
I haven't seen it yet.
George Harrison?
Sure. Say what you want. Say George Mike, anything you want.
I still, we've been so busy. It's on the top of our list to
The
watch. I
doc
haven't
is
checked it out.
incredible, man.
We gotta watch that.
George Carlin's a legit. He's punk rock, man.
Yeah, I know. We
Everything
got
he
to
was
see him
talking
live
about-
when we were teenagers.
Oh,
and,
wow.
like, yeah.
Everything he was talking about, it's happening now in the world. He's just really smart.
30-year-old bits that could be today. They're
Yeah.
still relevant.
And you see him like kind of viral on the internet these days too. People posting
Yeah.
clips of.
And I'm like,
What's your favorite clip, Justin?
Carlin?
Yeah.
He's got there's a really good one. I think it opens his What Am I Doing in New Jersey, where he just talks about how America is such a warlike people. And it's insane, and it's so sad too. It's one of those things where you hear it and you're like, it can make you pessimistic, but he's
You laugh
right.
and cry?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's so good at like memorization and like
Yeah.
lists, like shoes, big shoes, little shoes, white shoes.
Oh wait, actually, my number one favorite. He's got something called the Incomplete List of Impolite Words, and it's like 5 minutes of him.
I saw that
railing off.
the doc.
I know half of it. I'm not gonna do it because it's very vulgar, but
It's okay. I know the words, but yeah, he talks about that in the thing and how people
Yeah.
tried canceling for that back then. And it's the SoCal TMS Center.
Yes.
Is
Shout
there-
out.
You can get that done. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what's the therapy I need to get? You mentioned.
EMDR,
Okay.
trauma therapy.
Yeah, I feel like I have to do a whole episode just you talking about this stuff. It's so educational, and I appreciate you sharing that part of you.
Thank you.
Well, dude, thank you so much for having
Thanks
us.
for
Thanks
having
for
us.
being there.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm rushing, but I'm good. I got all the stuff I need in here. We talked about.
No,
you
that
guys
was
so
fun, man.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Yeah, man. Shout out to Hamilton High
Hamilton High,
and
Mr. Bruning.
check out the Interrupt. You guys got a tour coming up. I can plug.
Yeah, we're going
What
out
you
with
got?
Flog and Molly. We're actually leaving for Europe right now, and we're doing a full like Euro tour with festivals all throughout, and then UK headline tour, and then we come home and we're doing Flog and Molly, Tiger Army, The Skints, and us.
Tiger Arm. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're killing it. And so we're doing that from like all through the West Coast through September. So come check out our dates and party with us.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Anything else, twins? You want to say anything else?
I love you.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.